Hi, welcome to Crypto Lifer, where crypto is life. If you came to my channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Let's keep the momentum going. Today I want to talk about how charting really does work. I'm not going to say it's going to make you an amazing trader, and it's not going to make you win every trade. But what it will do is help you curb your emotions. When you have a pattern to trade by, you actually have a list of rules that you've already set, and that way you'll follow those rules despite what you think is going to happen to the price action. When you're dreaming for ups and waiting for big hits, that's when you make foolish decisions. You want to chart it out and play with the chart. You set your stop loss, and if your trade doesn't go through, that's it, you move on. There will always be another setup. There will always be another stock. There will always be another day to trade. Today will not be your last day, so don't trade like that. What I want to show you here is Bitcoin is these patterns. These patterns are huge. They're called reversal patterns, continuation patterns, and bilateral patterns. Continuation patterns tend to keep the trend going in the way they were going. For instance, this falling wedge here, that goes up, the falling wedge goes down, and it breaks up to the upside. What's interesting is the falling wedge is something that I was looking at pretty closely. If we look at here, this is pretty close to a falling wedge, and it's very narrow, but it could wedge out and it breaks up. Here's more of a better example of a falling wedge, broke to the upside. Came back down, created a wedge, broke to the upside. Down, broke up. Here's another one, broke out. Now if we look inside this little triangle, that's another falling wedge. I mean, that looks exactly like it. Look, it came up, wedges down. Came up, wedges down, and boom, look, it broke the trend line. That, my friends, right there, could be a buy signal. You know, you can't hurt to get in right there at 365. Even right now, I would encourage, I think that's a good place to get into the trade right now here at 364. You could set your stop loss here below the trend line at around 10,100, risking $200 if it's a whole Bitcoin. A half a Bitcoin, you're only risking 100, and if it's a quarter Bitcoin, you're only risking $50. So, and I think if I did use this trade, I would go in with 0.25 BTC. That's something I would do. So there is a falling wedge right there. There you see the pattern. Very interesting. But my main thing that I want to talk about today is how I drew this bullish pennant, or is it a symmetrical triangle? A symmetrical triangle will break to the downside and the upside. A bullish pennant, 68% of the time, will break to the upside. When I look at this, and if you're in the comment section below, tell me what you guys think. Is it a bullish pennant or is it a symmetrical triangle? I have to be honest, it looks more like a symmetrical triangle to me. So there's the options of Bitcoin breaking down or breaking up. What you do in this situation is you grab this bar here, and I had already grabbed this bar, and you take the back end of the triangle and you bring it to where you hope that it will break out, or the area it will break out. Then we zoom out a little bit, even a little more if we can, come on. But anyway, our upside target is sitting there at 14,415, something around there. And that would come if it gets coiled up into this angle. And we're looking at around 929, somewhere in this area, from 929 and October 3rd. We could see a $14,000 Bitcoin. That's what the chart's saying. And we don't know if that's true, but that's what the chart is saying, and it's possible it could happen. Now, it could break to the downside. For the downside, I honestly don't see us getting to a $5,000 Bitcoin. I just don't, and I could be wrong, but I really don't see that happening. I think if we ever go low, 8,500, that CME missed gap that everyone talks about. And if you don't know what that means, is the CME are futures. And a lot of times they bet on the Bitcoin price. And sometimes the Bitcoin price just skips over areas. And you can see a candle where there's no candle, and they call that a gap. They say that Bitcoin has always filled the gaps since the futures were out. And it's just very interesting to me. There's also a gap up at 12,000 though. So maybe it has to fill that gap too. So maybe it will skip a gap. Maybe it won't always fall. But what I want to show you is I drew this triangle when the price action was here. It had never, this little area here had never actually formed yet. I took these 3 points and kept going with my line. And then I took this point, this point, this point, and went going with my line. And they hit each other here. So I've been waiting for this. And look, you think it's a coincidence that the price action, you think it's a coincidence that the price action stayed perfectly inside of my bilateral symmetrical triangle? I mean, come on. If the reason is other traders are drawing these patterns too, and then they're programming their bots to buy and sell at these levels. Because if you're trading all the time, you probably talk to a lot of other traders if you're doing it professionally, and they all have a similar way of drawing patterns. That's why this pattern sheet is out here. Everybody that trades a lot studies these patterns. You have to. If you don't know the patterns, you can't trade with everybody else, and you're basically like in the dark without a flashlight. That's why when this trend line came up, it hit exactly the bottom of my triangle, and then it hit exactly the top of my triangle. And then look, a falling wedge and a breakout inside of the triangle. So what we're looking for is for this to push up and break this trend line. If this breaks this trend line, that would be an entry into the trade. You could enter now, like I said earlier, but that's far more risky than entering in the breakout with confirmed volume. If this breaks out above that trend line of the top of my triangle, that's a confirmed buy. Then what you would do is you would set a stop loss right here underneath the trend line. So if it breaks that trend line, it may keep going down and you won't catch all of the falling knife, just a little bit of it. So that's all I wanted to show you guys today. Just a really quick video showing you how I drew this triangle where the price action stopped here. Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that the price action stayed perfectly in the triangle I drew and actually hit points right along the way? I bet if I pulled out a Fibonacci, you would see it also hit Fibonacci levels. I'm still learning Fibonacci, so I don't want to go into that deeply right now, but soon I'll be able to show you that with confidence. Right now, I just want to show you patterns and charts. If you can get your hands on this pattern, I'm going to try to find a way where you guys can download this from the link in the description below. But that's it. These patterns are amazing to learn. Definitely get a copy of this. Check it out. Look at it. Take a screenshot of my video right now if you want, and then ship Apple 4 on your computer. Use the snipping tool if you have a Microsoft. And you'll be able to just, grab this right off of my video and, use it to your advantage to trade. Now remember, it's not going to solve all your problems. You're still going to have to curb your emotions, and you're still going to stick to a set plan as you get in and out of a trade. So that's it on Crypto Lifer. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you can find out when I put out my next video. Thanks so much. Have a great night.